David or Jesus here. First of all, I'm gonna say share this, give it a thumbs up, helps the algorithm up. You're all getting ready to realize things are getting ready to get really hard, really bad. This is the war that I was talking about last year when I was revealed on Coast to Coast AM. This is what I thought was going to happen within a couple months. I was a few months off on my timing, but this is the war. I want to talk a little bit about all this stuff that's going on over in Washington, D.C. And earlier just a little while ago, I was listening to a video, listening to someone being interviewed, and he's talking about how Israel comes out and makes himself a victim. And this caught my attention because in the 7th book, this is the book when we see, called For the Powers of Heaven, 7th precept, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. It shows the scriptures are the heavens, and, it talks about Luke 21, verse 20, it says, when you see Jerusalem compassed by armies, no desolation thereof is nigh. Verse 22, this is the time of vengeance, that all things written may be fulfilled. This is where I really started to understand, as I'm going through all this schooling with the Father for these last several years, that the King James Bible is not a history book. And I wasn't here before. I'm here now. I am the author of our salvation. I have written 9 books now to give you all an understanding of our Father, who He is, what He's doing, why He's doing what He's doing. But when it was talking about how Israel makes themselves out to be the victim, it brought back my attention of me. I got a chapter called that, Becoming the Victim, in the 7th book. And and what this is really trying to show is anything and everything that happens in our lifetimes, whether we like it or not, whether we think it's wrong or right, it's our own fault. It's nobody else's. But now let's look at some of the stuff that's been going on in Iran, in Israel, and the United States. Okay, first of all, I want to say Iran has always dictated what they said what they were going to do in retaliation when and if they got attacked. And they have announced their retaliation before they do it, and then they followed up and did what they said they were going to do. Okay, and now Israel's going, this guy said Israel's making themselves out to be the victim, and they are. They always make it out as Iran is such this bad monster. They may have things wrong in their government over there in Iran. We may not like the way they do things here in the government, but you know what? There's a lot of people here in the United States don't like the way things are done here in our government. Does that make the entire country evil? Anyway, that's getting on something else, okay? But Israel says, that is constantly saying Iran's wanting to do this nuclear stuff, and that Iran's gonna attack them. They want to kill them. Iran's has said for the last 47 years they're always chanting "Death to America." Well, you know what? And they have publicized that. Mainstream news has publicized that. But they don't publicize how the United States of America has put sanctions on Iran for the last 47 years and pretty well deprived them from anything from the rest of the world. Pretty well told them, without saying it out directly, that you don't have a right to live because they don't like them. I personally think it's because what we're doing now is because Trump's trying to get the oil, trying to get the money from the oil that goes through the Strait of Hormuz and so forth. That's neither here nor there. This is all being done by the Father. I know that. But Israel is going around saying, oh, well, there's such an evil regime, we got to do this. But how is an evil regime? They have abided by all the international laws throughout this war, still abiding by the international laws. Because throughout the international laws, they are allowed to retaliate against the ships that go through the Strait of Hormuz because it is wartime and those ships are being helped to use vengeance against them. So they have a right to be able to take control of the Strait of Hormuz because anything that goes through there can be used to harm them. All they're doing is fighting for their own survival. But going back to this being the victim, Israel is going around saying they're such monsters, that they're the terrorist regime. Now, let's look at who is actually the terrorist regimes. Who goes around killing innocent people by the thousands? Who just killed over 70,000 people in Gaza because they got attacked October 7th of 23? They lost not even 2,000 people, but they killed 70,000 people. And they still did not beat Hormuz. What were they called? Hormuz? The military branch there. I think it was Hamas. Well, Hamas? Yeah, Hamas. They're still in power in Gaza. Israel had complete air dominance. Israel's got all the big missiles. They got a bigger military, but they still couldn't beat Hamas in Gaza. They wanted to get the United States involved in this, and that's neither here nor there. The father's doing it, okay? But Israel's playing it out as Iran's such the evil regime. They're making themselves out to be the victims. When, honestly, when you look at the whole picture, Iran is the victim. Iran has been the victims for the last 47 years. Because everybody's looked at Iran as such an evil regime, they don't have a right to be alive. They don't have a right to exist. Who is the victim? It's not Iran. Iran is the victim. It's not Israel. Israel and the United States is the terrorist regimes that are telling Iran, the Iranian people, y'all don't have a right to exist. They're going around shooting up the school on the first day of attacks. They had bombed the school. Okay, let's say that might have been an accident. Why did they double tap it 45 minutes later to make sure everybody else was dead? No, it wasn't an accident. They literally did this because there was a lot of the military students that went to that school. What I mean by military students, the parents were in the military over there. Their children were in that school. So let's go ahead and kill their children. The United States and Israel has broken so many international laws. In fact, our guys have even sat up there at the pulpit, I call it a pulpit up there in Washington, D.C., and their briefings saying the international law doesn't matter. It ain't worth the paper that it's written on. They have no regard for human life. 1 Timothy 6:10, the love of money is the root of all evil. I think that's 1 Timothy. I'm not sure. But either way about it, Israel is trying to make out as they're the victim. The victim is not the aggressor. The United States and Israel is the aggressor on this. Iran had almost, and I agree with Daniel Davis on what he says, they'd pretty well given Trump a deal on a golden platter on the 27th of February. A few hours before the United States attacked Iran, this guy was coming out and saying, we come a long way. We've got a good deal. I mean, they was going to make it where there was absolutely no way they could make a nuclear bomb. They were going to start talking about reducing the reduction of their production of the long-range missiles and so forth. They were going to give what we wanted on a golden platter. But no, that wasn't good enough. But yet they turn around and say, we're the victims. Now, our president, yesterday, I believe it was at 7:44 Eastern time, comes out and makes a post on Truth Social. I don't have it. I'm trying to upload. I actually downloaded the site. I was going to try to keep up with it. And I didn't like the personal information it was asking me to give, and I didn't want it to become public, so I wound up deleting it. So I'm not sure if I'm going to put Truth Social on there or not. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, because I don't like giving away personal information. But anyway, Saturday on the 22nd, no, this is the 22nd, on the 21st of March, our Trump president said that Iran has 48 hours to completely open the Strait of Hormuz, or our president's going to order strikes on all their electrical infrastructure, which, is quite large. But then, Trump even said that he couldn't believe he didn't think Iran was going to close the Strait of Hormuz. He didn't think Iran was going to attack the Gulf nations. I knew 2 months in advance, 2 or 3 months ago, that I knew Iran was going to attack the Gulf states. They were going to close the Strait of Hormuz if they got attacked by Iran or Israel. Once our president started putting all that power over there, Iran started telling them, you all attack us, this is what we're going to do. See, well, this is what I'm saying. Iran announces what they're going to do in retaliation for them being attacked. But yet Israel wants to play the victim. The United States wants to play the victim. We're not the victim. They don't want to harm us. The other day, I guess the other day, they sent off a ballistic missile to one of the military, Diego Garcia or something like that. They sent off a couple ballistic missiles over there. They didn't get all the way there, but this just proves our point. They were making missiles to be able to destroy us. No, they're not making missiles to destroy us. They're making missiles to defend themselves, because they have to. When they live around, they're surrounded by barbaric monsters that doesn't want them to exist. It's just so ridiculous. But now, our president said this yesterday about that he was going to take out all the infrastructure, the electrical grid and everything over in Iran if they didn't comply and completely open up the Strait of Hormuz by, I guess it would be 7:44 p.m. Eastern Time on the 23rd of March. Because he said, you got 48 hours to do this, or I'm going to knock out everything. Iran has responded, okay, well, if you're going to attack our infrastructure, we're attacking the infrastructure in all the Gulf states and everywhere around. They're going after everything. They've got the military capacity to do it. They've proven this. And once again, they're announcing what they're going to do ahead of time in retaliation for the barbaric actions of the United States and Israel that is doing against them. If anybody's the victim, Iran is the victim. We, the United States of America, and this so-called country in Israel that everybody thinks is the Holy Land, no, it's not. Israel is a people in the Bible. You know nothing about the Bible if you think Israel is an actual piece of land that our Father holds above any other piece of land. He created the whole earth for his son. Everybody's part of the Son of God. His son walks on every piece of earth on the planet. But yet he's going to think these people are more special than anyone else? No. These people don't have any idea what the Bible is actually talking about, what it means. Israel is a people, not a country. We only have a country, Israel, because as it says in Matthew 6, when we're told how to pray, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. God calls us a nation, people, Israel. So we have a country or a nation called Israel on earth, because it's being done in earth as it is in heaven. Now, when Iran retaliates in the way that they did, this is going to cause such global chaos. In the Matthew 24 says there'll be rumors and rumors of wars. There'll be wars and rumors of wars. There'll be pestilences and famines. Pestilences are already there. Okay, that's more or less just a nuisance. Anything that's a nuisance. Famines. I do believe we got famine coming to the United States. We're going to have famine globally. And I was listening to something yesterday that was actually saying, because I've been watching the price of oil here in the United States, and it's been hovering around $100 a barrel. But I guess in other countries, it's getting closer to $200 a barrel. Now, obviously, I don't have access to that, and I'm not going to spend my hours trying to research that and look that up and all that, because I'm all about the Bible. I'm all about what our Father said in the King James Version of the Bible and what he's saying and, what he's doing. This is what I give you all an understanding of. Okay? But I think my main thing I wanted to point out is don't let Israel convince you, the people of Israel, The people living in that country of Israel, let me put it that way. Don't let them convince you that they are the victim here. They are the barbaric terrorists as we are, as the United States is. How is this showing love for anyone? How can we love our neighbor as ourselves when we look down on someone else just because they might have a different color skin or because they might do something that you don't like? You know, I used a couple samples about this. You're not going to let me come into your house and tell you you got to run your house completely different. Why should we think we should be able to do that to another country? Israel is not the victim. The United States is not the victim. The United States and Israel are the barbaric terrorist that's going after innocent people just because they're alive. That's not love. Y'all want an understanding of this, who our Father is, what He's doing, why He's doing what He's doing, visit my website, davidosalm89.net. All 9 books are available on this website. You're all getting ready to find out. This is going to get real hard, real fast for everybody. No kidding about it. Once again, give this a thumbs up. Help the algorithm. Share these videos. Share my website. Share my YouTube channel. It's time that people will start understanding what's getting ready to happen to them, because we're getting ready to see the loss of thousands, if not millions, maybe even billions of people. All because nobody wants to listen to every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God, the Father. He's been telling us all along this was going to happen. I've been telling you for the last 15 years this was coming. Now you're all getting ready to find out. I haven't been blowing smoke up your butt. I've been speaking the truth. I've been warning you of this. And now it's going to get real hard for everybody. I'm out.